Well, River State is currently facing some challenge. A challenge that is political, politically motivated, politically inclined, struggle for the soul of the state by political gladiators, who are interested in what is called in political science state capture. And it doesn't portend anything good for the state because of other inherent factors, variables. So the political situation in River State is not very palatable. Even though in the face of all these, the governor of the state is doing his best to deliver on his mandate. Every efforts have been made to bring the parties to see reason. And most particularly, the former governor posterity had smiled to, or smiled on, who has benefited from the state, from local government to state minister, all in political, from one party called PDP, Minister of State to Chief of Staff, to the former governor, Amechi, to being governor for 8 years, and today, by the grace of Providence, he is minister, a first-class minister in this country. And so one would ask, what is he looking for still? Can't he be grateful to Almighty God? So that is kind of confusing the peoples of the state. We're asking, what is it that he is still fighting for? Definitely, by where he is, as a former governor of the state, he has joined the Council of Elders of the state. Yes, just like at the national level. He has joined that special class of former governors of River State, where the former governor, how many are they? Very special class who are revered. Every former governor in the state is revered. If you like, serve out your tenure at 35 years, you have become a father, one of the fathers of the state. And so that's why we are worried that we're worried, about his attitude, the current attitude that he's portraying. As elders of River State, we are very worried because he used to be once loved. What he's doing now does not place him where he was early last year. So we're worried. Rivers people are worried.
Do you see this crisis ending soon?
The matter in itself, it is indeed the judiciary, the NJC, I'm sure the Chief Justice of the Federation, the current Chief Justice, CJN Kekere-Ekun, I think from her actions, the actions of the NJC so far is beginning to bring succor or hope to Rivers State by way of the appeal courts, the judicial pronouncements now are no longer those crazy pronouncements that were trying to throw our state, the Niger Delta, and this country into turmoil. You know, for instance, the issue of the local government election has been laid to rest. The issue of the rascals who went to court to stop the federal allocation, you know, that has been upturned by a superior court. So those things are. So the last one that that is still raising anxiety is that of the assemblymen, the members of assembly who jumped ship from the party that elected them to APC. Those who left PDP that elected them to APC. That's the last one, you know, that is still causing the people to be anxious. The people of Rivers State to be anxious, you know.
The Pro-Wike Lawmakers.
27 of them. 27 of them.
Do you see any chance of them returning back to the chamber?
Well, unless there is a subversion of the Constitution. The Constitution aptly states that when you leave a party that elected you, you lost your seat. So that happened, you know, where the media recorded it. You know, the media is one institution that people take for granted. The media stores history. And so the media, the history in your archives has it, or still stores it, it will remain green, evergreen, that they flew the flags of APC. It was read by the then Speaker, Martin Amaewhule, that they had left the party. They were also received by APC in a public function, you know. So the print media records it, the electronics media records it. So I do not know. So if those records become invalid in the eyes of the law of the judiciary, it's judiciary now. The law is extant. The extant law is the Constitution. So if the judiciary looks the other way, that those evidence under Evidence Act are not admissible, then the former members of assembly will have their lives back. Wow. INEC has failed. INEC has failed. Because a simple logic for anybody who went to university, a simple logic, that if you were 10 in a room and 7 leaves the room, as long as there are people remaining in that room, they become the legal occupants of the room. And so INEC has failed. Those people left they left the office almost 12 months ago. And INEC failed in its duties, even when a subsisting assembly speaker had written to INEC declaring, or had made a statement declaring those 27 seats vacant. That is on one hand. On the other hand, I had 2 assembly seats, one caused by death, vacant seats, one caused by death, the other caused by the resignation of a member of assembly, being the then speaker, Edison Ehie, who resigned to become chief of staff. Those 2 seats, we ask why INEC under Mahmoud will wait For who? To tell him to carry out his constitutional responsibility. Those two constituencies there would have been by-elections long time ago. So is it me that will conduct the election, or is it the populace in Rivers State that will? It is INEC. It is INEC, headed by Mahmood. So the failure of INEC is what also has exacerbated this issue. Because if INEC, the legal department of INEC, for instance, does a memo to the, say, look, this is where we are. This is number one. Number two is the National Assembly, because National Assembly also is supposed to perform oversight functions on issues that are constitutionally based, that can cause breach of the Constitution. So I've mentioned INEC, I've mentioned the National Assembly. And these two institutions, particularly the National Assembly, is culpable. INEC, whose duty it is to look at the correspondence sent to them. And the happenings in Rivers State is not happening in darkness. The whole world. And all these, cumulatively, it's affecting business in Rivers State in terms of investors' confidence in coming to the state, save for the performance of the governor, you know, in completing projects he inherited, and all those, you know, making the workers happy. Of course, you know, Rivers State workers were unhappy for 8 years that the former governor ruled. The workers in Rivers State, the public servants, the civil servants were unhappy for 8 years. What do I mean? There was no promotion. We saw at that time, even labor went on strike. If we remember vividly, there was a running battle between the governor, former governor, and the labor unions in the states. There were no promotions. People remained stagnant. No employment to fill natural vacancies that, you know, that occurred regularly by death and by retirement. And so this governor now is, you know, going on well. And that is why the people of the state are happy. And let me tell you, former Governor Wike would have been a hero if these issues had not, if he had not been linked to them. And so today they talk about pro-Wike lawmakers. The pro-Wike lawmakers are those who are trying to tear our state apart. You know, a shameless lot, you know, pro-Wike lawmakers. If they stand election today that is free and fair, none of them will get 10 votes from their constituencies. That's the truth. Just last weekend, there was a burial somewhere in Eleme local government where crisis ensued. What caused the crisis? That they mentioned, introduced the name of an assembly member, a former assembly member, or one of those pro-Wike members. What happened? The crowd. There was an imbroglio. They had to. There was physical assaults. That somebody was mauled down, but thank God he didn't die. What if he had died? So these are the issues. These are the issues. These are the issues. Our former governor, Wike, he has to wear his thinking cap and reverse, because posterity is recording this history negatively. You know, it's not. And then, because let me tell you, my group, the group I lead, the Coalition of River State Leaders of Thoughts, you know, alongside other leaders in the state, had made efforts to intervene in this matter, but nobody responded to our calls. And that is why it looks like Rivers State does not have elders, because these young men do not respect elders. I wonder what will happen when they become old men. You know, the leaders of thoughts and the elders of Rivers State have tried, but they don't listen. So we have to encourage our governor. He is the leader of the state today. We must encourage him to be steadfast, to continue to do those good things, those things that will bring happiness to the people. You know, after all, the Constitution gives him to look at, to take care of the lives and property of the people. You know, the welfare of the people is paramount. You know, that's the essence of the Constitution. So that's our advice. Let him continue to do all those good things. Let him not be distracted. Let him keep faith with God, his maker. Let him keep faith with destiny, because that is ultimate. At the national level, so many countries, after almost all the countries in the world, the consequence of COVID-19 is taking its toll. Look at the last election in America. They voted against the Democrats as if there was no COVID-19. All the efforts that the governments, you know, in Nigeria here, so the supply chain, the supply value chain globally that was disrupted and distorted is the problem that so many. But in our country here, our problem basically is that of our inability to stamp out insecurity. People are hungry. Look at the stampede. There are stampedes happening all over the world at the stadia and all those stuff. It's not, you know, attributed. I wouldn't call it a Tinubu cause. You know, it's if insecurity, that may be a blame for a sitting president of Nigeria. If insecurity is stamped out, if those who have taken over villages in Benue, those who are fighting to take over communities in Taraba, those who are fighting, you know, to take over communities or struggling, you know, in Plateau, killing people, maiming people, and all those in Nasarawa State, all the states of the Federation. If the insecurity is stamped out, our farmers will go back to farm, and there will be surplus food. Today, we know that the rice we eat in this country are homegrown rice. If all the farmers goes back to farm, I'm sure that by now, a bag of rice will not cost more than 50,000 naira. So these are basic things we must tell ourselves. There is also need to show, exhibit, to show the people that the times are hard. Why do I say so? There was no need going to renovate Dodam Barracks. There was no need going to build new houses for a new house for the vice president in Abuja. Those things are, you know, if he shows some bit of that there is an austere economic situation in Nigeria. Nigerians are very easy people. Nobody will criticize him as much as they're criticizing him. You have a yacht, you do this and buy a brand new this. Yes, agreed. It is not out of place for the president to enter airpiece going to London. It's not. It will show that the president is really in tune with the reality. But to buy a brand new presidential, it means showing off when you should be exhibiting an austere leadership.